Peace and love, y'all. It's your brother A.D.V.I.S.S, and we are back with What's the Word Wednesday, Season 2, Episode 7. I appreciate y'all's patience. Hopefully, internet connection is working. Shout out to those that are here, as well as those who will watch this later, whether on Instagram or YouTube. But, as we usually do, I'm going to drop in the topic for today, as well as I'm going to pop up the logo just for a little bit, and then after that we'll continue on with what we got going next. But real quickly, alright, but other than that, y'all, as everyone's coming in, we're gonna be getting into the topics today of current events, as well as we're gonna speak on discipline and unroll that a little bit more. And lastly, we're going to get into the topic and discussion on, do we all share a common purpose in life? And it can seem like a simple yes, no, but we are going to expand that out, talk about it. But other than that, vibe out for a little bit, and we will continue to let this thing keep going. But appreciate y'all again for being in here. We back. Life and workload. I know love is best realized in one soul and shared among all to behold. It's a never-ending process. Decades to mentally process, then progress on every element evident in its existence that we clash with. You decide the arena and where the match is. Full current ideas to imagine evident in its existence. As this track ends, we'll get started with the show song, and we will jump in to the current events. We letting a few more people come in before we get these things started. And when you do come in, let me know how you doing, how you feeling, and what's the word. What's the word around on the street, in your life, and in the world right now. So when you come in, let me know that. Feeling abstract to the code, so be gold and tell them I know that there's something greater. I'm told that it takes moments to show where it goes. Keeping the feeling abstract to the code, so be gold and tell them I know. And with that, what's up, brother? Good to see you up in here, my boy. So with that, let's get the show song going, and we're going to get this show on the road. But how you doing, brother? Tell me, what's the word? What's going on with you? But here we go. Tell me if everything is clear as well, too, on your side. But when they keep asking me why, I got to let them know. What's the word, y'all? What's the word? What's the word, y'all? What's the word? What's the word, y'all? What's the word? What's the word? What's the word? What you heard? We gotta know, yeah, what's the word? Once again, y'all, it's your brother A.D.V.I.S.S, and we are here with episode 7 of What's the Word Wednesdays, Season 2. Glad for y'all being up in here. Y'all let me know in the comments if everything is clear, because I know we've had to take a quick break due to connection and internet issues. So y'all let me know how I'm looking and how things are working, so we can continue doing this on. And once again, shout out to those who are already here, those who will watch later, and we gonna kick this off. Let's see, it said purification of mind and spirit. That's the word. I'm with it. But other than that, y'all, let's get into these current events. So I mean, I've been going for a minute, so I know there's been a lot of things that have been happening in the news. A lot of things that's been happening within pop culture as well as within politics. But there's only a few things now recently that I've seen that I'm going to speak on. And if y'all have any others, please throw them in the comments, because I am not the end-all be-all when it comes to news and resources. But these are the few things that popped out to me, at least to speak on for a little bit. So first, after the situation, and this is leading up, this is back way when with the whole situation with George Floyd. Now, an update has been added to the case from Derek, one of the guys, and basically there's video camera evidence showing his reaction after what happened with George Floyd and all of this stuff. So there's been an update to that, because I know there's been a whole thing back and forth with him getting persecuted and not, whatever it may end up being. What's going on? It's Big Sue in the building. I see the name, I feel it. That's what's up, and that's what's going on. I feel that. But they basically found more footage and more evidence to at least, I don't know if they're gonna charge this man. I only got to see a little brief of the article, and this is on CNN. But basically now there's more evidence to show what was really going on, especially us knowing about the body cams and what the uses are for, and then how sometimes suddenly these body cams stop working and misfunction, or really the integrity of the officer to either keep it on or they're going to turn it off. But there's some more evidence to add on top of the whole situation. Yeah, so it's not a new camera. If I'm looking a little different, it's the angle that I'm working with, as well as my internet is a lot more on point now. So that may be the difference, but there's no new camera. It's the same camera, same phone. But yeah, so that's the first thing, was just an update of what's going on in the case here with George Floyd and everything, with the folks either having an update to what's going on, and now we have another perspective on the side of what was really going on, especially in the body cam. Second thing, and it's one of the biggest questions that I end up having, and they've spoke on it before, this whole idea of vaccine passports and the issuing of how this rollout will look when it comes to going places. So as of right now, it says as more and more countries like Japan, China, and Denmark plan to introduce vaccine passports for their citizens, now Americans are starting to wonder if they're going to need to show some type of proof of vaccination or some type of travel ID so that they can continue to participate and move. So this whole institute of there being a passport for folks to be able to continue to go do places. So on top of you needing ID, whatever state ID you have, if you're trying to go out of the country, you not only need a passport, but then also with this particular case, they're looking into, you need this vaccine passport to show proof of you either have gotten the shot, or if you have a negative test result. And the reason why I know I find this interesting, and y'all can also let me know how y'all feel about this too. This is all stuff you can Google and get the news as well. What is? Yeah, they may be starting it here soon. I bet down in, you said in Georgia, right? one example that they've already started doing that is with New York. Their particular pass is actually called the Excelsior Pass. And this basically is a scannable QR code that shows that you have either gotten the shot or that you are negative when it comes to a particular test. And this does seem, you can weigh both the pros and cons when it comes to this, but when it comes to data and really figuring out how to not only combat this in a way to really help with lowering the spread, it really starts to figure out, okay, what is really the true purpose of getting more of these passes and more other restrictions besides only on this, particular to stop the spread. Some folks say that it's to continue that safety when it comes to all the other things that you end up doing. Others say that it continues to limit more of liberties, rather to be able to go and have fun at a concert, go maybe visit family members and other things of that nature. So it starts to become less of freedoms to be able to choose, but more so it's leaning in a favor to go to one side. So that's just my perspective on it, but there's a lot more with that. But just know they did this back a while back in the CDC when it came to you had to show at least some type of valid ID, if not verification that you had a negative test. Now they're taking this step further for you to have it as a passport, so that either you're going to have a laminated card, or in this particular case with New York, theirs is called the Excelsior Pass, which they're going to have it as a QR code. So just letting y'all know about that. As more things develop and the projected time for everything in the world to start opening up, which they say in the summer, we'll figure out whether this is going to add any more leaps and blockage against people going and doing things, or is this going to help create more of a safer rollout? Y'all be the deciders on that. But that's the other thing I've seen in the news. So yeah, I have a family member who travels a lot, and she mentioned it. Yeah. Yep. Especially if you got to travel for work and do stuff like that. Now you got to really start thinking and put it into your plans of how you're going to go about doing things. But that's the vaccine pass. Another thing that I found interesting, and this is going on the side of finance and investing, is there's a new surge of a type of investment called NFTs, which are non-fungible tokens, which is basically cryptocurrency. And what's going on with it is, now with all of the stuff, people being, again, still during the whole pandemic in this situation, especially artists who are struggling to be able to make ends meet, now this has given people autonomy to create digital online art and be able to buy this digital online art with these different cryptocurrencies, and it is able to trace and pinpoint where especially all of the money is going, and that it's true to what his nature and his name is. But the other thing about it is that because of the rising of the cryptocurrencies and how the amount and the value changes, people buy these works of art for a certain amount of money, and now what they can do is they can actually save these works of art, and as either Bitcoin or Ethereum, these are a few too that are there, they can get more money on top of that if they resell it somewhere else due to the high demand or the growing demand of the cryptocurrencies. But let's see, NFTs aren't great for the environment. I hear you on that, brother. I still have a lot of research to do on it. I only just got to delve real quickly into it to at least scratch the surface on it. So I would have to really start looking more into it. I know if we're thinking in the aspect of having people use their computers and machines to do all this mining for this stuff and using a lot of that energy to do that, then I'm with you, brother. That creates more carbon, emissions, etc., that can harm and either push the world and the environment even back further, if that's where you're going with it. But I feel you on that point. But I just wanted to bring to light, this is another investment avenue people have been taking, especially for those who are selling their art and being able to get compensated during this time for their art, and it's all digital. But other than that, y'all, that's really all I have really for news. I know there's so much more to be speaking on with it, but in this particular case, again, the whole George Floyd, Derek Chauvin having more now evidence with the video cam body that shows the after effects and his reaction after. I don't know if that's going to do anything in particular, as well as the possible rollout of the vaccine passports, which we're going to get something in some way, shape, or form, but in the form of whether it is digitally, like a QR code, like how people would get like a digital or an e-ticket to get on an airplane. Everything is being pushed on a technology base. It's going to get to a point where a lot of things in paper form is going to just be all on the phone. It's going to be on some type of technology. You're not going to necessarily need to print out anything to show verification for stuff. And there's been some pushes on top of that as well to honestly try to add everything together, whether if it's Apple Pay, whether if it's your immunization record, all of these things together within just a simple QR code for it to be able to just scan and be like, all right, you passed. So on those, and then lastly on the NFTs, which is non-fungible tokens, and how they're being used to buy digital works of art, and you can make more money on that. People are starting to do that. But let's see, it's a dope opportunity, but something to be mindful of. Yes, all of this to be mindful of. So don't just take my word for it. Also, y'all look it up, have your research, have your perspectives on it. But that is the current event news. If y'all have any more, please throw it in the comments. I appreciate y'all's input as well as your perspectives and anything else you would like to share. So grateful for it. Right, next we're going to get into the topic of discipline. Rather, what discipline is, why discipline is important, what are some of the pros and cons when it comes to discipline, and is there a need to implement it within your life? And if so, how do you go about doing that? So in the comments, y'all let me know. Even here later on YouTube, y'all let me know in the comments, when you hear the word discipline, what are the few things, or what do you think of when you hear the word discipline? Write them down in the comments for me. Got you. And for those figuring out too, thank you, brother, for letting me know. So it says mention where you can find you via YouTube. So on YouTube, you can find me at A.D.V.I.S.S Speaks, and how you can get there, there's a link in my bio and Instagram. And if not, you're already on YouTube, you're already viewing it, so appreciate it. I see you in here, nephew. What's going on, nephew? So we got Big Sue said is control. So when she hears discipline, first thing she hears control. Now, is it control in the aspect of like controlling somebody, or control as in you have yourself like composure to be able to hold yourself. You got persistence. I like it. Nephew, let me know. What do you think of when you hear the word discipline? Write it in there. And remember, y'all, if y'all want to, you're more than welcome to come on and also have a convo with me. Instagram ended up updating its whole thing where now more than one person can be joining the live. So then we can literally have a whole thing of like it's a room of a discussion. So if y'all willing to, more than welcome to go ahead and just add a request and you can jump in. So we got structure as well as we have self-control. Okay. And accountability. Beautiful. I love those. So yeah, so when I think of the word discipline, and y'all could continue to go on too, and as I'm also laying out these questions, when I think of discipline, I definitely do think of accountability, and I do think of that structure and how to keep yourself really fixed and focused when it comes to whatever you're doing, whether that's you working out, whether that's you trying to get an assignment done for class, whether that's you trying to work on an assignment for your job and getting that done. So being able to meet your deadlines and your goals, but have it planned out to a point where it has that structure and you have that self-control and accountability to keep yourself at doing that, even when it gets hard. So that's what I think of when I hear the word discipline. I might break the word down another day, but I'm not going to break it down in this particular case on this. But why is discipline important? And when I think of asking a question of why discipline is important, we got Big Sue saying mind over matter. That's one of the keys to it when it comes to the discipline. Yes. It's important because of, just as y'all were speaking on, it provides a structure and it provides a clear plan, if you put it out correctly, on how you want to move about achieving a goal or getting something accomplished. So, and the thing is, the more that you keep yourself within that structure of why it helps, it helps you see the progress in what you're doing and reassure you at times too when it does get tough. So yes, there's going to be times where you're going to definitely need to take a break and you're going to have to reevaluate how you move about something. But that's what is the part when it comes in with the discipline is, are you able to do that? Are you going to get on the horse and then once you get thrown off the horse, are you going to give up? Or are you going to go back, maybe write down some notes and figure out, okay, when I approach the horse this time, I want to be able to go on this side, that side. And when I'm holding on to the horse, I want to have it this way, that way. So that literally that's where that persistence comes in, is you're building that whole structure to figure out, okay, when I tried it this time and it didn't particularly work. And even though I got discouraged because I had got to get on the horse 4 or 5 times, but I kept falling off and I couldn't stay on for 30 seconds. Or even less than that, just say 5 seconds. Figuring out where you're going to go with that to help, again, keep you on track with what your next push is going to be. So why is it important? It's important because it provides that structure as well as it provides that push towards the whole main thing, which is to better the self. That's really what discipline is. It's, at least in my perspective. What's going on, Chris, in the building? I appreciate you. Good to see you in here, fam. Yes, navigating failure, because that's a great point you bring up. And some folks will end up giving up and just saying that's it because of the fact that they failed, as well as they will begin to project what we all know as fear, the false evidence appearing real, and that ends up becoming more of a crippling feeling to the fact that they're not able to push forward because of the fact that the failures hit them, and then like, well, since I failed, there's no reason for me to try. When knowing that actually failure is one of the greatest teachers that you can have within life. Because if you never try anything and you never fail at anything, you won't know how to either improve on what you need to do for the next step, or you won't even know how things should have been done the previous time if you don't ever try. And what that can end up doing is that can limit your different abilities and your different strengths that you're trying to build, because of the fact that you are afraid to even try because of the possibility, and depending on what the skill is, a bigger possibility of failure. So I love that part about is navigating failure. So like when it happens, you're still able to have that particular plan of, okay, I'm still gonna go at it. Girl, if you don't, with the where the wings at, goofy. But ultimately with discipline, now since we know the why, and like I said, I love the ones y'all pulling in here of the whys of knowing the discipline. It's what are the pros and cons of that? So we spoke on a little bit of the pros, whether of how it provides you structure, gives you persistence, and it's also helping you be able to navigate failure and either build this self-control and accountability. But what are some of the cons to discipline? Like why is it hard sometimes for people to just, I can say myself included, to continue with a discipline? Why is it such a hard feat to continue doing? So y'all tell me, what are some cons of discipline? And why y'all doing that? For me, a con that I can think of discipline for using discipline would end up being, word popped in my head was rigid. So being too rigid. So you're very systematic when it comes to things. So even if there's really less room for flexibility if something comes up. So if you're very disciplined on something and you might not be able to get to maybe a workout or get to do whatever goal that you were trying to achieve for that day because life happens, being super rigid and being like, no, I have to stay on schedule, this is how I have to end up doing it, can also be a detriment into your downfall. So not being flexible when it comes to the realities of life and knowing that you're not going to always be able to get to something even you have your plan all the way out. I see you got isolation. Yes, it can also end up creating isolation, especially if you're either doing this alone or if you're doing it with a group of few people, but you're following completely different plans when it comes to whether I keep on going back to working out, because that's one of the big main things it's very hard for some people to stick to, is that working out. Even if it's reading or eating right. You can isolate yourself because of the fact that you get so heavily engrossed in this that you forget the outside world that's around you. And since you're so set on getting this all done and accomplished, you just really, yes, you block everything out. So I agree, isolation definitely can be one. We see it. It can cause selfishness and insensitivity in certain situations. So selfishness in what type of way? I'm thinking when you think of discipline, being very disciplined and being very selfish, I'm thinking in the case of very similar when it comes to the isolation of basically you need to get this thing particularly done and somebody may be asking you for help, but you're like, no, I can't do that right now. I need to go do this. And it may have been something as simple as like just helping them pick up a grocery bag and you're going the same way. And you decide, yeah, no, I don't need to end up doing that. It's all about me right now. Like, that's what I'm seeing. Like, y'all let me know Is that what is it you meaning when it comes to the selfishness? And then the insensitivity. That word, insensitivity, is, I feel it's geared towards the approach of basically being empathetic and being conscious of others that's around you, and not showing them any leeway and like bringing them in. So if they might end up saying something in particular about like, hey yo man, like you going a little too hard with this, and you know you got your loved ones and everybody else that's out there that wants to see you and stuff, and you just being very mad about the fact of like, like I don't care, I'm doing this right now. So it's like not really paying attention in that particular case when it comes to other people's input on something. Because at the end of the day too, as much as you can use discipline to help yourself too, there's the whole idea again of the balance. If you overdo it, it's too much. You don't do it enough, it's not effective. The beauty of a lot of things in life is get in that balance. And let's see. So Sue said, in the sense of all work, no play. Only work, and never giving time to people who matter in your life. Got you. I feel that. Exactly. All right. So the selfishness in that particular case. Yes. I can dig that. Don't be like, yeah. And let's see. Some also use their newfound structure and start looking down on. I was just about to get to that point, so I appreciate you already jumping on it. Looking down on others who haven't quite gotten there yet. So using that to basically be very condescending and saying that you're holier than thou when another person is on their journey of getting this discipline. So you start to become entitled. Like, I've already went through this journey and I already been doing all of this, and I'll look at you like even trying to start. Oh, you messed up on your first day, like, and you shouldn't even do it anyways. So it gives that sense of entitlement to be like, yo, like, yeah, nah, you ain't as good as me, and I don't know if you can end up doing it because you messed up here, and there. Rather than the opposite side of being able to encourage and know that life happens, be flexible, and be open to incorporating everybody. So I feel that point. That was mostly some of those things that I was thinking when it came to the cons. Y'all really hit on them. I appreciate y'all. But on the flip side of all of those things, since we got to also speak a little bit of the pros, where would you end up bringing those, or bringing discipline into your life? Where would be good places to put discipline in your life? And y'all put that there. I'm better than you because I'm here and you're there. I used to be. Yes. So once again, the entitlement. But where would you apply discipline? Where does that really fit? I mean, the easiest answer you can say is everywhere, but in specific parts, where would discipline benefit someone in their life? At least for me, in my example in particular case, discipline as in what I'm doing right now. So making sure that when it comes to me doing shows and content, that I stay on top of my game and being able to push through even when things happen and stay consistent in the fact that, and discipline that even though I didn't get to do it this time, you're still going to shoot for the next time, and not to lose the fuel and the fire to do it because of unforeseeable things happening that can be out of your control. I like that in health. Yes, definitely being able to discipline yourself. If those people who are starting to change their eating habits, whether they're going from eating a lot of meat to slowing down to maybe eating only white meat, or end up eating vegetables, vegetarian, pescatarian, to veganism, whatever it may end up being, putting those plans and those steps into how you're going to get to those points, while also not only improving on your body, but improving on the mindset that goes along with it. So yes, in every aspect of life, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and financially, yes, all of those put together. Because in the pro sense of using discipline, when you're able to discipline yourself and get yourself in a nice routine on how things are going and how to move and maneuver in your life, things honestly become much easier as it goes, because as you're in this loop of discipline, consistency, self-control, and accountability on yourself, you start to notice your behaviors in any of those areas that we spoke on, and you can make those readjustments as you go, but you're being flexible at the same time, and knowing that yes, this may not particularly work this time, but when I go for it next time, I'm gonna do it for this many days, or I'm gonna do it for now 10 minutes instead of when I was trying to go for 15 because that was a little too much. And the beautiful thing of what that ends up happening is, once you're able to get that discipline and going, and you keep it consistent through your actions and the way that you live your life, a lot of things will start to come into your life from the universe, from wherever you may end up attributing that power to, whatever you subscribe to. You start to see a lot of beautiful things happen to you, because once you're on top of your game with a lot of these different areas, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, financially, health-wise, and every aspect that you can, building on yourself, you start to notice that the universe and things work in your favor. So you might end up, one day, trying to be going to the gym, and then you get a flat tire. But before you can even call AAA if you have it, or wherever you have somebody to help you tow, somebody pulls to the side over here and says, oh yeah, man, I actually have an extra spare. I can give it to you. And then literally you have somebody coming. That's just out of nowhere. And this is just you staying focused with your discipline on your mission. And literally, at least I've seen it. I have more anecdotal experiences, but it's happened to the point where I know, like, as I've kept myself disciplined in doing things, even if something ended up happening, the flow of life helped me in some way, shape, or form. So on doing that, it also helps to motivate other people within your circle, especially if you have someone that's keeping you accountable and helping you. But also it helps other people in your circle, whether if it's on social media, or it's in your family, or it's even your friends. And it actually provides a boost of that motivation for you to be like, yo, if my homie can do it, my homegirl can do it, my mom, my sister, whoever, they can end up doing it, and they're showing me the way how to do it. And they've even brought me a few times on whether to go meditate, go to the gym, go pick up whatever may end up happening, then I can definitely do this. And since I see what they've kind of done, I can start here. And even when I mess up, I go back, I think about it, I write it down, and then I'm like, okay, now this is what I'm going to try next time. And I'm not going to beat myself over it, because of the fact that I didn't get to keep on that. Whole thing about discipline, like it said, is being able to really learn from those failures and maneuver through even more of those obstacles after. So you see, Sue said same thing, so definitely has similar experiences. Yes. So Why discipline is important? It provides a structure in your life, especially if you're moving towards wanting to improve. We're not going to speak on the side of how you can do the opposite of things as well too, because at the end of the day as well, it depends on your intentions of how you want to use that discipline. That's why you have different people disciplines in martial arts and fighting, but not a discipline, of course, in harming people, or a discipline in any other aspect of that. But in this point of we speaking on how to improve upon self with the discipline and being aware of the pros and cons when creating your plan and goals to continue. So letting yourself have that balance there, and where you can put it, y'all said it precisely, in every aspect. Specifically, yes, you can do physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, and spiritually, but everywhere you can add it in there, but just don't overdo it. But if y'all have anything else for discipline and any other talking points, please throw them in the comments, as well as y'all can come on, speak your piece. I love doing it where I'm able to communicate with y'all via all of the comments. If you want to come on, you're more than welcome to do that. I will say, yes, disclaimer, this will be on YouTube like I spoke before, so if you're ready for that, I appreciate it. If not, it's all good. But throw them in the comments. Now, lastly, which cannot be the last topic, you guys can also, if y'all have things you want to speak on your mind, throw them in there. We can chop it up as well and speak on it too. But for the last topic for today's show, it's the topic of, and a simple question. It can be simple, or it can even be how complicated you want to make it. Is, do we all share a common purpose in life? If so, what is that common purpose in life? If not, why don't we have a common purpose in life? So y'all let me know. What's going on? Brother Fred Wizard in the building, y'all. Brother, I just came in. And I know you probably might still be doing your thing at work, but I just came in and we're speaking on basically the last topic, which is, do we all share a common purpose in life? And if so, what is that common purpose? If not even more, or if not, why do we not have common purposes or a common purpose? So y'all let me know. So let's see. Before I put my points into here. So alright, let's see. Sue said, our purpose in life is to figure out our purpose in life so our soul doesn't have to return here again. Nice. I'm so glad I put this out too, because I'll share with y'all some, at least maybe two, at least purposes that I feel we all commonly share. But I like that one exactly too. As people talk about it, is what's the meaning of life, and it's finding meaning within life. So the answer is within the question. So our purpose in life is to figure out our purpose in life, so we don't have to return here again. Because if y'all do not know, all those that are out there, we are not this body. We are the eternal soul having this human experience within this body. This is just a vessel. So whatever you may end up needing to do in this life, it's something that your soul was sent here to do. If you need an example of that, Pixar did the movie Soul and talks about that whole concept in that movie as well. It may not be super, Well, it kind of is very obvious to see it, but just to give y'all some reference, the movie Soul really speaks about that. People finding a common purpose, and they think they have a purpose, but then end up being something completely different. But I like that, Sue. I like that. Any more? Y'all throw it in there and let me know. One of the common purposes I say that we have in life, one of them, because I know I only said one, but I wanted us to flesh out if there's even more. One of them for me is to definitely just the whole idea of just connection. That in everything that we do, any jobs that we do, either if it's similar or it's completely different, from a doctor all the way to a custodian, to a gardener, our main objective is to connect with others, whether that is to uplift them, whether it is to support them, or whether it may even be, we don't want to say the opposite, but you got to be able to acknowledge the opposite as well too. But the whole idea of connection and that being a purpose to be able to push others, that's just one of them. And once again, there's no right or wrong answer. This is all just part of a discussion. But a purpose in life is literally to connect to everyone and everything. Another purpose, and this is more of a religious purpose, which it also is a natural purpose as well too, is to further, of course, the human species and the human race, which is to continue on the many other legacies into the future. So, of course, within the Bible, to be fruitful and multiply is another common purpose that everyone shares. It may not be a role that people want to do, as well as some people may not be able to do it, but within just that aspect, that is something that has been put out there as a common purpose that everyone does share. But those are the few, at least that popped to my head. This fool, that's on a whole different realm, my man. That's on that other side that we speaking on, bro. And even if you just playing around too, you'll be surprised, man, that some people's purposes is to honestly cause harm to others. And that's what that's been sent. And it starts to make you question, you know, a lot how people really question about good dying young, all these different scenarios of why do things happen the way that they do. And some people can argue that's the flow of life. That's life providing some type of balance. It may not be in a great way to do so, but just showing you that everything in this life has some type of role or purpose to play. And in an overall sense of having a common purpose, it's for, once again, it's for debate, to figure it out and to know. So if it may just be finding your purpose within life is your purpose, then that's your purpose. As well as with everyone, that's what we're figuring out, is like, what have I been sent here to do? So that can be definitely a common purpose in a way to put that there. Another one could end up being, okay, if I am here, then his purpose is to connect. Because as much as we can say that we self-made and can say that we can do it all our own, we would be, like my hair would be no cap. You be lying to yourself. You be capping, saying that you can do it all by yourself. You need some people to say it like that. I said it because it rhymed. Knowing you, bro, of course, bringing freestyle and rhymes and everything into play, of course. But adding on and continuing with that too is, even with that connection and figuring that all out too, it just provides more of a sense of not only being able to figure out what that is, but being able to really feel like you relate to other people, because at the end of the day, yes, you can say we're all humans in a species, whatever it may end up, being, and we just all trying to figure it out. Like, nobody particularly has the right answer to a lot of different things. I barely know anything. Shoot, it's a wise man knows that he knows nothing at the end of the day, and a fool knows just about anything and everything there is. So it can be that connection there. And then also, depending on what you subscribe to, it can be just to continue a legacy and to continue to let human species and race continue to race on into the future. Now, if y'all got some more, please throw them down in there. But now, since we spoke on it, it seems like most of the answers were yes, that we do share a common purpose. If there is anybody saying that we don't, please throw it in the comments. I'd love to hear your perspective on that too. But now, with us figuring out that, okay, in this particular case, yes, that we all do share a common purpose, and we've gotten to talk about what those common purposes for. Now, why is it such a push to have a purpose in the first place? Why is it such a push to share a purpose in life in the first place? And then here he has a reason for being. Yes, a reason for being in his life. I feel that as well too. But why? Why do we need to having a purpose in life? Can we just be fine with just living and that's it? We don't have to have any purpose in life? As well as, and I could be completely wrong, because I will say this disclaimer, I have not got to watch all of Soul, but I've gotten to see little bits and snippets of a synopsis of Soul. And when it comes to finding your purpose in different things in life, is that concept in itself also to your own downfall? Because if you get to finding what you think your purpose in life is, and you center your whole life around that purpose, and you come to find out that it didn't bring you that fulfillment and that happiness from doing it, it starts to get in your mind to think that, did you waste all of your time doing this? So to wrap it back to y'all, why should we end up having a purpose in life? And if we're sharing it, why should we be sharing it with other people? Because it could end up not being ultimately what it is. I know it might seem like I'm just unraveling, I'm just shooting stuff out. This is always just a free flow from the top. It's a freestyle in a way. But think of it in that particular way of why of having a purpose, and if it's really, really needed. That's why you want to end up really looking to figuring out what really motivates you to even want to live, and really what will push you to experience just the beauty within life, as well as you can see the ugliness within life too, of why having a purpose or having something shared is needed. And the brother said it right there, to drive us, hands-on control of where we go in life. Yes, so if you have no purpose, no drive, then you ain't going nowhere. But I will add on top of that, of the other side of, well, if you have a purpose and you get all the way to the end of achieving that goal / purpose, and it actually does not give the reward that you expected it to, and you feel you've wasted your life, how do you avoid, or how do you choose? Do we even get the choice to choose our purpose, or is it just given to us? I know I'm going everywhere with it, but then it starts to make me think about, do we even have a choice to say this is our purpose? And if we do, how do we pick it accordingly to know that that's what we want and that's what's needed? So, in my particular case, to think about it in that way, of how to really choose out the purpose and to know if you're on that right route with it, that's where you have to do a lot of inner work, as well as that's why you want to expose yourself to a number of different things. You want to be able to be open to figuring out what can really happen and what can be done, and where leading you. But I'm gonna cut mine. Let me see. Got the brother coming in. Now let me see. Big Sue said,
Yo,
"What's up, brother? What's
what's
going
good, bro?
on?" It's your boy
What's good?
UTC Leroy in the building, y'all. Man, what's the word, my brother? What's the word?
No, I was typing a lot, but I mean, you just said it, bro. The inner work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You gotta release any type of fear, any type
Yes.
of negative thought, and really cultivate your mind. You know, as if it was a garden, and eliminate any weeds that are up there that are gonna lead you the wrong direction. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So it's really just like I said, what drives us, where we choose we want to be when we decide that that's the journey that we're ready to embark on, you know?
Yeah.
So if we're not ready for that journey, then we shouldn't go that route. We should do, the work it takes for us to get to that point, to
Mm.
which, we could then say honestly, like, I'm ready, and yeah, that's
That, that's beautifully said, bro. No, I feel that.
yeah.
Like, I'm glad that you was putting on that too. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see what Sue said, and I want us to keep flowing on it. She said, "Okay, so I feel as if your purpose. I feel that as if your purpose is your soul's key to freedom, in a sense. We get it right, and then it finally rests, or we can go home. Like, the soul has to reach a certain level of maturity first. Hoping that that makes sense. Yeah. So now, why that key is different for everyone, IDK, I don't know. I love where you went with that, Sue, because you just gave me the imagery of the Matrix, and how the guy in the Matrix, the keymaster, that literally each door had its own different key. And that literally, when it came to crafting or figuring out what key works for what door and who is destined to have what particular key, it all depended on what you said from the beginning of how it started. Like you were saying, is how that starting point begins for us to get to wherever that is. So that whole idea of the keys of freedom is really, like you're saying, brother, really building on opening up and really getting that mind space and that
Right.
mindset straight to help
And
you
I
on
think
that
that's
path.
that's the
Because
that's
we just not arm, leg, body, feet. But go ahead.
Oh no, no, I was just gonna say, like, that's the part that's important though, is realizing that we all have different doors to open, and that's the
Yeah.
connectivity aspect too, because with us all opening all the different doors, we got to come together and share that information and figure out what's the best way to, like, you know make it better for, like you said, the future generations, or like whoever comes after us. We just can't have access to all this shit and not do nothing with it. We just can't,
Yep.
you know what I'm saying? It's like, if you go back 100 years, people were doing so much more with far less, and it's like, what's the difference? Well,
Yes.
and honestly, it could be, like I said, with your mindset and having, like, the right frame of mind.
Yeah.
You got to have that to make the correct, like, journey. If you don't have that, you may do something that's in detriment, which is like why I was mentioning the NFTs. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
that's great and all, but you got to understand the impact of, like, that having that resource? Is it the right time to go about doing that, you know, or is it the wrong time?
Discernment.
Is it pre-med, like, you know what I'm saying? You got to have like, what's the risk and what's the reward? The risk is, you know, you put the environment at stake. The reward is that, you know, you make $70 million off of a piece of art. You know what I'm saying? It's like, does money then equate to like, you know, life? And it's like,
Yes.
no.
Mm.
It's like time does, you know, and we're choosing
Mm.
money over time. You feel me?
Yes.
So it's just like, I don't know. You just really like got my mind like, you know, going with this whole conversation. And it's a lot of shit that I've been, you know, really like reflecting on. And like I said earlier, with being like humble, you have to like give yourself space to like
Yeah.
also realize, like you said, we don't know everything. You know, we got to grow. We got to like, you know, understand, um, you know, life, because you know there's so many things there's so many things to like learn from and grow from. And if you're
Yes.
closed off to all those opportunities, it's like you're just going to be stuck, you know. And it's a beautiful thing, you know, that we get to like live, you know, and see this shit firsthand. So um I don't take it for granted, and I don't feel like, you know, if you have a purpose and you have a drive, I don't think you can take it for granted. You feel me?
Yes.
So
So do you feel in the aspect, or I should say feel, do you think in that aspect of when we flip it to the other side and say, well, I found this purpose and I did it for my life all the way to the end and it didn't bring me any type of fulfillment and joy at the end, do you think the sentiment of it is better to have loved than lost kind of goes into
mm,
that play of his, was it better for me to just have a purpose that did push me even though at the end it didn't necessarily bring the expected feeling I wanted,
yeah.
or that I just didn't have a purpose at all and I was just whatever?
Well, it's not even the end goal, it's the journey, you know. That's what you gotta have respect for, is, you know, not where you ended up, but like how you got there and how that built your character. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if you're just like, you know, you could, the way I always say it, you could be playing rookie or you could be playing Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah.
like, you know, which route are you deciding to take? Are you going to be Kobe, or are you going to be somebody that just, you know, gets benched all season, you know, that nobody knows? You feel me?
Yep.
So, I mean, there's sacrifice, there's, you know, there's a whole bunch of universal laws that comes with all this stuff, you know what I'm saying? And you have to really, you know, it's sacrifice involved with everything, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you got to understand, like, you know, what is at stake, you know, and you got to, like, it's like with the alchemist, you know what I'm saying?
Mm. Speak
I
on
bel
that.
when Santiago had to, you know, decide whether or not, you know,
Spoilers if nobody read
oh,
it,
you know
but
what? You know what I'm saying? It's like
you still
you
use
got
the teaching point though. Go ahead.
you got routes in life, you feel me? You know what I'm saying? You could choose to stay, you know, you could choose like to say, okay, this is enough and this is worth settling for, or you could choose to like not settle, you know? And that's just
Mm.
like, I don't know, bro. That's everything, man. That's everything. And at the same time though, like you said, you know, when you get to that end point, you want to make sure that you at least have some type of like, you can live your life even if you failed, you know what I'm saying? Even if you didn't, like, you know, you reach for the moon and you land on a star, even if you did not reach that point in the mountain that you were like planning to go, at least you still have a view, you know?
Yeah.
At least you can still see, you know, your way and see like where you came from and like what you were able to do with the time that you had here, because that's really what's at stake, you know?
Mm.
And if you just let it pass, like, you know, we're all guilty of it, you know, falling. And
Yeah.
bro, like, I'm just on a rant right now, but like,
Bro, no, you
you know,
not. You speaking, and I'm glad because I love the point, and I'm gonna still throw it right back to you. I love the point that you touched on the journey. That's what
yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah,
really wanting to push on. It's like I could have said it out blatantly, but that's definitely another thing that we was sharing in common. Besides just living the purpose of life, is that everybody is on this journey. We are on
right,
different roads, but guess what? That connection is going to put all of us together on whatever path that may end up being. It might end up being for a season. Like they said, your friends in change, they come through different seasons. It may
right.
be just for maybe during summer, you guys are
No
on that
harm, no
same path.
foul.
And then after that, move over into autumn and you guys end up splitting different ways. But I love that aspect that you added on the journey, but keep going, brother.
No, bro. I mean, bro, like, And one more point I'm gonna make, because I'm gonna let you
Yes.
get back to it.
And
But one more
we gonna be wrapping up, so it's all good, man. Handle it,
one
please.
more point I'm gonna make is that, you know, and I see my boy Alex is here. I just had this conversation with him. I'm not gonna like give details, but
Yeah.
you know, it's also like what type of like, you know, what are you like feeding yourself? You know, like as far as like
Mm.
what are you putting into your body? Are you eating, you know, healthy food? Is the same concept. Like what are you like if you're gonna cultivate your body, you gotta cultivate your mind. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And it's like what are you choosing to like store there? Because that, you know, then inspires, you know, it's like, you know, a database that our mind is like some crazy database that just stores everything
Yeah.
subconsciously, consciously, and it drives us to act. So it's like you got to be really particular. And you know, this kind of gets into murky waters too, because you know, everybody has an opinion, you know what I'm saying? And I
Yep.
let people, you know, live by whatever they believe, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like everybody should have that opportunity, you know, although it's not, you know, generally cast without judgment, but you know, that's not for us to like, you know, cast that on others.
Yes.
Basically my point is just like feed yourself like what you think is best for you and what is
Mm.
best for the results that you want. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. You know what I'm saying? Feed your body that, feed your mind that, and let that drive you to where you want to go. Because we all
Yeah.
got different paths, and you know. So that's
So
it, bro.
be mindful of the fuel that you have, and honestly, everybody, from that takeaway, I can put and I can say that's why doing that inner work and learning knowledge of self is not important. It is necessary
Right.
at this point. It is
It's
necessary.
mandatory. You
Yes,
got to
it's
do it.
mandatory. This is
That's
this is a
step
class that
one.
you have to pass and take if you want to keep going on to the next levels. Like
Yeah.
that's for sure.
Because then
And
you get into like the dimension of like connectivity and like, you know, this, you know, there like when you get into the universe, bro, like you literally intuition, all that stuff, like it literally starts to like assist you with like so
yes.
much, to where like sometimes thinking too much will block you from moving forward. Sometimes you just can't
Mm.
think, you know what I'm saying? You just gotta go with like what your gut is telling you, and that's never really gonna lead you astray, as far as, because you know, subconsciously, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But yeah, bro, that's it. I'm glad I got to hop on. I appreciate you for, you know, everything that you're doing, YouTube, Instagram, these topics. Definitely got my gears in my head going. So yeah, I'm gonna catch you later.
Always appreciate you coming on, brother. Much love. Thank you so
All
much.
right,
And we're
man.
gonna
Take care.
continue. Me and you gotta tap in
Yeah,
like
we got
super
a link,
soon.
bro.
All right.
All right.
All
Peace.
right. Peace, peace.
I get off of this.
I got you.
All right, bet. Appreciate it.
All this new stuff with Instagram, but thank you, brother. Appreciate that. Thank you to all those who's been in here. You know, I'm sorry I just started to see that there's more folks down here. Peace and love to all y'all in here. So yeah, absolutely, as a BH provider, you got to be mindful of what you introduce to yourself. You got to. Yes. Yes. Appreciate that point. And just to wrap up the whole discussion here and just to end out on a show, like we were speaking on, that when it comes to discipline and when it comes to sharing common purposes, if everyone does, which we've spoken on the connectivity, as well as you finding that purpose within life and figuring out, just know that the important parts of that is doing that inner work, mandatory for you to know knowledge of self so that you can get the blueprint, because that's where it is right there. Inside yourself, you got the blueprint. You even got history is another way for a blueprint. You have people in your family. You have all of these other blueprints that set you up with an idea of, okay, what am I going to move towards? And exposing yourself to different experiences and finding what fulfills you, as well as what is that road that you want to put out into life, whether it goes all the way down to the end where you feel like it was a complete failure or you feel that it was a huge success. Knowing and being self-assured, accountable, humble, and structured on moving on that journey and loving that journey on the way there, because that is where all the other common purposes and people, places, and things all merge together at different points of life that we're all living, that will help push and motivate you in those wherever it may be into the future. And you leave about this legacy, or you leave about a lesson from your life. Maybe it didn't turn out right. You leave the lesson. But at the end of the day, we're here to connect, share, and find what makes us us at the end of the day. But other than that, y'all, this has been episode 7 of What's the Word Wednesdays, season 2. Shouts out to the brothers. Shout out to brother Leroy coming on. Shout out to Sue holding it down in the comments. All of those who came in, and for those who are going to be watching and listening later. I've been your brother A.D.V.I.S.S. Peace, one love, and we'll see you next time.